Cyberpunk 2077 just keeps on getting better. Another major update just was dropped.
Earlier today, Cyberpunk 2077 got a new update. This is patch 2.02, being about 15 gigabytes on PC and much larger at 34 gigabytes on consoles. And some
console plebs getting destroyed again. Deserved.
People on consoles even had to download a secondary 22 gigabyte update for Phantom Liberty. This update changed a bunch about the game. Tons of quest progression and also quest skipping issues were fixed with this one. But even beyond that, we actually got some balance changes to weapons as well as a secret change or two that is definitely pretty interesting. But
that's pretty nice. That's pretty interesting. Dude, CDPR is pushing this redemption so hard. Cyberpunk 2077 absolute garbage dumpster fire. You know, it was the piss water equivalent of gaming when it came out. It had problems, it didn't work, the game was honestly badly dead, it was a disaster. But now with Phantom Liberty, the redemption story is there and everyone is happy, and it looks like they're just trying to even push this as hard as possible, you know? They're trying to make that redemption story as prevalent as possible. I mean, I think everyone already is happy with it, you know? Everyone who was saying Cyberpunk bad when it released, which should be everyone, by the way, because it was, is pretty happy with it now.
But hey, what about updating your own life? Are you tired of spending hours of your free time cooking instead of just eating and gaming? Well, today I'm going to help you fix.
If I gamed for an entire day, I would probably end the day by just offing myself because, yeah, I want to live in the real life, not just constant escapism. I game like an hour or two a day maximum. You know, it is what it is.
Fix that with today's video sponsor, Factor. With Factor, you'll get a giant box of meals delivered right to your door. No more having.
Oh yes, you gotta love these meal prep things, dude. Someone actually said this previously. But we can't buy this quality of food in gas stations in America. Well, tough. I mean, okay, you can, but you know, stop blaming everyone for being poor if you're an American and you unironically are gonna spend money on this garbage, okay? This is probably 5 times... No, what am I talking about 5 times? This is probably 20 more times more expensive than, you know, just eating McDonald's for a month straight. Admittedly, McDonald's is fast food, and fast food has a negative effect on your psyche, but, you know... just cook a giant pot of something. Take 2 hours of your day. Cook a giant pot of something. Spend 1/20th of what this garbage would cost, and it's probably still gonna be good. Do not buy any of these instant meal prep things. Okay, the only ones that I would ever support are protein drinks. The ones that aren't meant, by the way, for bodybuilders. The ones that are literally just meant to taste reasonably good, and they're designed to remove hunger. That's the only thing I support.
With your phone. But one of the biggest changes to come with this update is the skill progression bonuses were finally fixed, at least mostly.
Nice.
With patch 2.0, we get this full-fledged new skill tree, giving you different bonuses when you reach certain milestones, except multiple of these were broken and actually broken in different ways. Most of these were broken with patch 2.01. After that update came out and you loaded a save with that update, many of these skill progression bonuses would just not work. Like here, as I grapple this enemy, I should be cloaked, but I am not. Thankfully, today's update did fix that for most of these. So having optical camo kick in from the Headhunter skill is back, as well as no weapon sway while I'm crouched, again thanks to Headhunter. Unfortunately, it still seems like not everything on this is working. There's a separate issue that's been around since...
I mean, they're gonna fix it at some point, at least. You know at this point that they're good at fixing it.
Since the release of patch 2.0, where the top tier net running skill just has never really worked. What this one will do is allow you to quick hack enemies through cover while you have overclock mode active. It seems like this may be working. It's kind of hard to tell what exactly they're using or determining as cover in Cyberpunk. Like, you still can't quick hack enemies through walls, but occasionally through some thin materials or barricades I can.
Wait, well, it sounds pretty simple to me. Cover is not a wall. Cover is, well, it could be a wall if someone knows that you're there. I think that's how it's meant to work. Through cover, yeah, it's something that, an NPC can get behind and duck. Just blatantly through a wall, I don't think that's ever the intent. I could be wrong, but that's my assumption.
And quick hack certain enemies, but the skill was supposed to have the secondary effect of revealing enemies around you in a 10-meter radius right after you activate overclock mode, and it doesn't seem like that works at all. I turn on overclock mode here, but none of the enemies around me get any new indications on them, and it also seems like the level...
Yo, 10-meter radius is actually, super small. That's probably the problem. The 10-meter radius is actually super small.
55 solo skill is not working correctly either. So it definitely seems like although the vast majority of skills are back to working, some still have problems. They also fixed those time limits on vehicle contracts if you have Phantom Liberty. This was honestly a hilarious bug when doing some of the new vehicle contracts as a part of Phantom Liberty. Specifically when doing the slowest cars, you would have this extremely short timer, making it nearly impossible to get to the car to the destination in that amount of time. Thankfully, with this update was resolved, and even with some of my mediocre driving, I was able to return this car with over 30 seconds to spare. The hilarious part of this bug being the cause. Vehicle timers are dictated by speed, so the game would check, is this car normal speed, fast speed, or if both of those checks failed, it would assume it was very fast and give you a super short timer. The issue being that there were also a fourth category with cars with bad speed. So the game was checking if bad speed cars had normal speed or fast speed, and since it didn't have either of those, it was just assuming you were driving a very fast car, despite the fact that you were oftentimes actually driving one of the slowest cars in the game. So a pretty funny bug that is thankfully now gone. It also seems like a secret change came with this one in how fast you're able to drive up to the Dogtown gate, at least from the interior section. It definitely feels like you can roll in much quicker than you could previously. There's one patch note that was super interesting with rebalance the stats of some weapons based on player feedback. I searched a ton and I have no idea what weapons this applies to. I checked many weapons from Phantom Liberty specifically, or even just some from
That's kind of funny.
the vanilla game, and could not find any notable stat changes to them. So if you found some rebalanced weapons, let me know in the comments down below, as there was at least one actually mentioned in the patch notes, that being the...
This is why typically when you get patch notes like this is just like the big headline. Rebalanced your mom's aggro. And then you scroll down and by 0.01%. Wow, that's great. I bet she won't hit me now. Okay, well yeah, this is how it should be. They were just lazy to actually add what was supposed to be rebalanced, or did they accidentally delete it or not add the part that was supposed to be rebalanced? Because come on.
The Malorian arms, otherwise known as Johnny's pistol, which did get buffed with this update. They made it so the recoil is easier to handle, especially if you're at low stamina, and the damage per shot was increased. Unfortunately, the previous special ability of piercing through walls is still gone. That was removed with patch 2.0 and has not been brought back, but the other buffs applied to the weapon are definitely quite handy. On the release of patch 2.0, Johnny's pistol was honestly almost worse than even just a random tier 5 pistol, so thankfully with these more recent buffs, it definitely is a lot stronger, and specifically this alternate melee bash fire attack is better than ever. You could really take down enemies quickly now with this. The bait quick hack was also rebalanced. If you're standing outside of a quest area, you can no longer bait enemies to you so that they leave the quest area. Unfortunately, it seems like this was actually leading to some enemies just no longer entering into combat as you entered into the quest area, or sometimes they would just bug out completely. And now the way things work is you basically need to stand inside.
Did he just take fall damage there, or was that just me?
I did the quest area.
Because something flickered red on the screen for a second there. I have... What?
And then you could bait enemies to you. If you're somebody who is relying on this quick hack a lot, this will honestly be a pretty huge change to how you're using it. And what is probably the funniest of all of the changes, you can no longer pay a homeless man to get rid of your wanted level. So I actually did know about this feature, and I honestly was about to cover it in an upcoming video. Get subscribed.
I had no idea that's a thing. That's hilarious. Pay off a wanted man to... Pay... Homeless man. Okay, that's pretty good. So, what? He just pretends to be you and says, "It was me, officer. I killed those 52 trillion hookers. It is what it is, you know?
That one. But not too long ago, there was a Reddit post highlighting it, where basically, if you get wanted, you could just go up to one of the homeless people in the game, pay them their 5 Eddie fee, and it would remove your entire want.
5 Eddie fee. By the way, okay, so this is a bug, but this is something that happened in real life, and still happens in real life, by the way. Because you see, some cases, some criminal cases, some police cases are not actually, solved. And sometimes these cases get solved when a rando person just walks into the precinct and they're homeless or something like that. Or turns out there's someone who's in debt a lot of money. And then they say that they are responsible for X happening some time ago. And it's like, well, okay, I guess we're gonna arrest you because, by the way, keep in mind, that this is something that people, some astonishingly how don't understand about real life. If you go to a police station and say that you have murdered, 1,000 people, yeah, they're gonna arrest you, but they're actually gonna try and corroborate the fact that you actually did it. They're gonna look for evidence. You saying that you are responsible for a crime doesn't instantaneously make it that you're just gonna get thrown in jail without anything. No, they're gonna actually check if they can prove based on what you say that you did do it. So there's this situation in real life where people with debt and homeless people go to police, go to the police and say that they are responsible for X, and then they are able to actually, give their accounts on what happened, and they give the account only about things that the police should know or the guy who did it knows. Obviously, they didn't do it. They just got bought to do it because they have debt and things like that. It's quite crazy. So the homeless man thing, I thought that's actually an in-game mechanic.
Wanted level. This was pretty clearly a bug. It basically seems like it was some kind of game state switch. And frankly, it was kind of harmless because you could also just get rid of your wanted level at any time by walking into a job area or even into a vendor. But with the recent update, CDPR fixed this, and funny enough, the way they fixed it is you can no longer donate to the homeless man while combat is active. A bunch of the weirdness around the Phantom Liberty quick start option was fixed. If you owned Phantom Liberty when starting a new game, you could jump to the point in the story where you can actually play the new quests. But for some reason, when doing this, there definitely were some oddities, at least before this patch. Previously, none of the completed quests, or the quests that you should have completed, would be visible in your journal, but now they are. But more importantly, you can now actually get Jackie and Dex's unique weapons. Originally, if you did this quick start method, Dexter's body would just be nowhere to be found, even though you should have completed his entire questline and he should be found here. And since his body wasn't there, you could never find his unique weapon. The same exact thing applied to Jackie's weapons. But with patch 2.02, this has been restored, so you can get Dexter's unique pistol in the landfill and Jackie's unique pistols from the bar that his funeral is held at. And with 2.0, Jackie's pistols got this really fun pirate build associated with them. You get 2 of these as you loot them, and each headshot you land with one will restore 1 ammo. So you can basically swap in between the 2 pistols, never having to reload as long as you can land some headshots. As well as this patch note is super misleading.
That's pretty interesting.
During Firestarter, it will now be possible to pick up the Bald Eagle weapon after siding with Saul.
Oh my god. Can you believe this? Dude, you can see that this is played on a mouse. This accuracy, bruh. I'd switch the console. I'd switch the console so, at least people don't make fun of you for that. At least on console, bad aim is possible. By the way, I love when I can talk about console aim being absolute atrocious dog shit. There are people who go like, no, console has good aim, it's a myth, you can actually be very precise with a controller. That's bullshit. That is so bull. You know why you think that? You know why some people think that? Because because they have no idea every console has inbuilt tracking and auto aim. Yeah. As long as you aim in the general vicinity of whatever, it's gonna auto aim correctly. This is the funny thing that always happens with, like COD players and shit like that. When a new game comes out and console fanboys play it, and it's a shooter, and it's a fast action or whatever shooter, and then they instantaneously start complaining, oh my god, the auto-aiming is not strong enough, buff it, because we can't play it on console. Yeah, no one in console ever has actually made a precise shot ever in their lives without auto-aiming. If aim assist is off, you will never even play a single shooter game on console.
Songbird. So without getting into spoilers, because this is fairly late into Phantom Liberty, if you do choose to side with Songbird, after the chaos unfolds, you can double back into this second door, into this lounge area, and you can loot both Wild Dog and Bald Eagle. I'm sure a lot of people missed this, and actually, as of patch 2.01, this was blocked for some reason. It seems like you could always do this on release, but then 2.01 came out, the door was shut, and you couldn't access this room. But now, once again, with patch 2.02, you can access the room and get each of these unique items again, as well as Sasquatch's hammer will now actually appear at the new black market vendor in Dogtown, which is just great. I honestly think all of the iconic weapons should appear here after you finish the quests associated with them, but for some reason there's a bunch that don't. But unfortunately with patch 2.02, you're going to have less iconics. They made it so after crafting an iconic...
I wish they made something in Cyberpunk when, wielding a melee weapon was actually, felt good. Swords are okay, but like, hammers?
They made it so after...
Oh, you couldn't see it. But yeah, when you hit someone with a hammer, it's like, bonk, bonk. Pretty lame.
Crafting an iconic weapon, the crafting recipe will just delete itself. So this actually reverts things to how they were previously, where you could only really have 1 or 2 iconic weapons at a time and not more than that. And since I know many of you are wondering, unfortunately the bug with your apartment wall not displaying all of the iconic weapons has not been fixed with this patch. They fixed the bug where a bunch of your cyberware would get downgraded to tier 1. This was seemingly some kind of error or issue with patch 2.01. Some cyberware was wrongfully getting upgraded to tier 5 with patch 2.0, so they fixed that with patch 2.01.
Man, they're fixing so many problems, but admittedly, these are rare random issues. If they weren't rare and random, a lot of people would talk about them. But this is like Spider-Man. Are there bugs? Yeah, but you encounter a bug like every now and then. It's not a big deal. It's not like Starfield where the whole game is just one giant bug and you encounter it constantly.
But then a bunch of cyberware somehow got downgraded to tier 1 incorrectly. It should have been a higher tier. Thankfully, it seems like that was reverted. So you may notice a bunch of your older cyberware, if you are using an existing character, will now be higher tier than it was previously. A really nice feature for a lot of players is they introduced a mechanism for the detection of mismatch or corrupted scripts, which are caused by outdated mods or file corruption. So now when trying to launch the game, if it typically would just crash or error out, it'll provide some instructions as to what's going on and how you could fix this, like clearing out old mods or just doing a fresh install. This is a super common problem. An update drops, it breaks a bunch of mods, and yes, this update also broke a bunch of mods, although thankfully a bunch of them are already updated. Even
the problem with mods is the moment a new version of the game drops, the mods are going to be instantaneously broken. Pretty much every mod gets always instantaneously broken with any new version. There are some exceptions, I think, but it pretty much always happens. And by the way, when the mod gets updated, it doesn't mean that it automatically updates for you. You still need to download it. You still need to download the new version and blah, blah, blah. This is why mods suck. This is why mods are annoying and you can't rely on mods to fix a game.
As I filmed this, but mods would break and in turn you wouldn't be able to launch the game. People would think the update broke their game, not realizing that no, in reality it was because you had mods and those mods are breaking the game. So now thankfully everything will just be a lot more clear and you'll be able to recognize that the mods are the issue and not the update itself. If you're somebody playing the game in German, simplified Chinese, or Japanese, the voiceover quality for those were remastered, as well as this update did come with a variety of bug fixes. The junk dupe exploit was addressed. This is one of the primary money-making exploits available, but it is going to be gone now. As well as some of the easier to get skill shards in the early game have now become more expensive. One bug fix that'll definitely be a bother for some of you is they fixed the data recycler perk refunding too much RAM, and really the core issue of refunding RAM at full cost. This video from Z Karma was honestly one of the best sources for abusing net running mechanics, including this one, as basically what was going on here was you could upload quick hacks at a discount, like it being 50% off, but then get the full cost refunded thanks to the data recycler recycler perk. This would refund 80% of the RAM value of a quick hack if it was still in the queue and an enemy died. So if they basically died before it got uploaded. And effectively, by abusing some synergies, you could get near unlimited RAM thanks to this, because you would upload at a discount but then get the full refund. Unfortunately, this was removed, so now you just have to deal with typical RAM management. Several changes were made to how save games and just saving in general works to avoid more corrupted saves in the future. Just recently, there was a very prevalent problem for PlayStation users where saves were
nice driver.
Corrupting. But now, saves won't be overwritten before it is confirmed that the save data is valid and not corrupted, as well as cross-progression will no longer upload save files that are larger than the...
I mean, this was a problem when Cyberpunk released. Save data being completely corrupted and just boop, gone. Admittedly, it wasn't super common, but it did hit more people than you would like. Yeah, that was a super bad thing.
Max file size to avoid any issues there. As a part of this, a ton of quest progression issues were fixed. They implemented dozens of fixes here for both Phantom Liberty and vanilla quests, including the absolutely imperative fix of the flatlining during the Path of Glory ending. That's no longer going to happen. You can successfully beat the game now. Overall, I thought this was a super solid patch for Cyberpunk 2077. The quest fixes in particular are a great addition to the game, and I honestly felt most of the balance or quality of life changes are nice to good. The iconic crafting change is a bit frustrating, but thankfully beyond that, there wasn't much in the way of nerfs. It does seem like more work needs to be done to get this overclock skill working, as well as there are definitely some things that need to be addressed that weren't addressed with this update that are lingering problems. Cyberware capacity...
What the hell is this card supposed to be? The most stablest thing in the universe? Like, bruh, how do you not... What is going on here?
Stop showing up after a certain point for many players, and in some users' games, they simply cannot upgrade items to their max rank at tier 5++. This was one of the expected changes. They actually mentioned earlier this week the possibility to mark vehicles as favorites in the call vehicle menu doesn't seem to have made it into this patch, so it'll likely come in patch 2.03, but if you're looking for that one and
well, at the bare minimum, it took... Look at how much they have implemented over time. Well, it takes 3 months for Starfield to implement just an FOV slider. At least they're doing good.
Curious as to why it's not here, it just doesn't seem like it shipped out today. Overall, I think CDPR is doing a phenomenal job of not only releasing regular updates to address some of these issues, but also just having really great communication. We're getting patches almost every 2 weeks, and a few days beforehand getting a preview of some of the major fixes that are coming. With that said, that's the latest update to Cyberpunk 2077. If you're interested in more content,
that was juicy head. Good video. Cyberpunk always hitting the good spot. Wow, it's always impressive. They're doing good. Well, good. Let's hope they keep on doing that. Not just open up a pencil factory or something like that because reasons, and then sell the Witcher team, the erasers. That would be bad. That would be bad. Anyway, this was Quizzer Sensei. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.